Valorant's Donk is probably out there pub stomping a ranked lobby as we speak, but because of the structure of Riot's pro scene, they might never get a shot on the game's biggest stages. So is Valorant's pro format actually hurting its greatest prodigies?
Before we get into today's story, I'd like to thank Cash App. Cash App isn't just changing the game when it comes to your personal finance, they're also sponsoring our newest season of The Story Of. With the Cash App card, you can design your own debit card, get exclusive discounts on everything from video games to coffee, and they don't bother you with anything annoying like monthly minimums or random fees. Cash App also makes sure that your money stays your money, with no fee overdraft coverage up to $200 if you direct deposit at least $300 in paychecks each month and spend with your Cash App card. The bottom line here is that Cash App's got your back. Download Cash App today using the link in the description and get started. Now, let's get back into the video.
So for those of you who don't know, Donk is the undisputed king of Counter-Strike 2. He has won basically every S-tier trophy that CS2 has to offer, including a major. He's also been the MVP of practically every event that he and his team have won, and he's already given us some of the game's most iconic plays.
Team Spirit into the playoffs, but Heroic decide to silence Spirit. And Donk will go forward alone, but there's so many targets. And he can often prove enough on his own. And can this little nuisance pull off an unbelievable clutch to keep his team in it? Yes, he can!
Yeah, the kid is absolutely cracked. Donk was HLTV's Player of the Year last year, and we might not ever see another player just walk into a team at 16 years of age and immediately dominate like he has. We've seen plenty of prodigies flop in esports when they make the jump to Tier 1 competition, but Donk certainly isn't one of them. He's only continued getting better and better. But if you follow professional Valorant, then you may have just watched Tier 2 teams compete across the globe in the game's Ascension tournaments, which determine what teams get promoted into Tier 1 for next season. Now, these events help showcase all the best up-and-coming players from each region, and they always build hype for the following season. But there's one problem. Even if a team wins their regional Ascension tournament, there's still a chance that not all of their players will be able to play in the VCT the following season. Players only need to be 16 to compete in Tier 2, but since Riot implemented their partnered leagues back in 2023, teams have been unable to field players under the age of 18 on the Tier 1 stage, and this has negatively impacted teams in the past. Just to give an example, last year's America's Ascension winners, 2Game Esports, earned themselves a promotion into VCT Americas for the 2024 season, but their star player, Spike, had to ride the bench for the majority of the season because he didn't turn 18 until June. He missed out on all of kickoff and stage 1, and by that point 2G were already struggling so bad that their chances of qualifying for any international events were already in the mud, and they were eventually relegated from the league. Now, to be fair, 2G did experience some other issues throughout the season, most notably losing their IGL, but I don't think it's unreasonable to believe that they likely would have performed a bit better if they weren't missing Spike for most of the year. And at this year's Ascension event, yet another team with players under the age of 18 won the event. In fact, Envy has 2 players who aren't actually old enough to compete on the VCT Americas stage. Their controller player, Ion, is only 16 years old, and their star duelist, Kane Zera, is 17. That means that Envy needs to replace 40% of their roster before next year. It's a pretty unfortunate situation, but this past year showed us just how deep NA's Tier 2 pool really is, so perhaps all hope isn't lost just yet. Marder, Brock, and Scuba all got picked up by NRG throughout the 2025 season, and now they're world champions. A lot of these players are just waiting to be given a chance in Tier 1. But why doesn't Riot want players under the age of 18 playing in the main VCT circuit? Well, the answer is likely labor laws. It's not necessarily that they don't want them to, but laws are different all over the world. Many countries don't allow children to work past certain hours or beyond a certain length of time. When we went to the Game Changers World Championship in Berlin back in 2023, one of the matches had to be postponed because it was too late at night for G2 Mary to play. Having to move around matches on the fly can become a logistical nightmare when Riot is trying to produce a live event, but based on their plans for 2026, Riot is still listening to community concerns.
We told you we want to make the VCT more open, reigniting the dream for aspiring teams and players all over the world, and we will take that first step next year. Starting in 2026, challenger teams will have the opportunity to qualify to the biggest event of the year, Champions.
That's right. As we get ready to transition into the new VCT in 2027, next year we're replacing Ascensions and Visitors Lots at international leagues with a path to champions. Challenger teams will join the hunt in Stage 2 for a chance to qualify to champions and claim the title of Valorant World Champion.
So, starting next year, there will no longer be an Ascension tournament, but Tier 2 teams will have a chance to qualify for the biggest event of the year in Champions. If they manage to do so, then they'll get a cut of the revenue from the ever-popular Champions bundle. That could be massive for smaller orgs, or maybe even teams who don't yet have an organization.
If you're a Tier 2 team, you have the ability to win your way into the summer playoffs.
Yeah.
And if you are a Tier 2 team playing with players under 18, those under 18 players can play with you when you ascend and can play through the playoffs. And so I think that's a really big advantage to teams now who can offer someone. So like if Envy was next year, right? Kane, Zara, and Ion would immediately be able to play with them when they got promoted up into the Tier 1 playoffs.
But of course, there's a catch for next year.
That if they made their way to Champs, unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to play at Champs because of Chinese law.
Because the Chinese law, where you have to be 18.
Yeah. So again, going back to what Minnie's saying, it's a global sport, so you have massive
with local rules,
with laws everywhere. Yeah.
So, because Valorant Champions is in China next year, players under the age of 18 still won't be able to compete at the biggest event of the year, despite the changes that Riot is bringing forth. It's great that they're listening to the community and trying to make changes, but we still might miss out on Valorant's next big superstar because of the age restrictions. There have been plenty of incredible players across Valorant's history, but none that have broken onto the scene and dominated from a young age like Donk has in CS2. His rise is genuinely unlike anything we've seen in esports, but only time will tell if Valorant's Donk actually exists.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.